My dog trainer called and asked, "Who taught your dog to alert before you have a seizure? Because you told me he has no training." I got Biscuit from a shelter 2 years ago. He was a 2-year-old beagle mix with a crooked ear and a bad habit of stealing socks, and I picked him specifically because the shelter listed him as low energy, low maintenance, not suitable for service work. I have epilepsy. I wasn't looking for a service dog. I was looking for a couch companion who wouldn't demand too much from me on bad days. I enrolled him in basic obedience training 6 months after I adopted him, mostly because he'd started counter surfing and I'd lost 3 sandwiches in 1 week. The trainer was a woman named Patrice, who ran sessions out of a facility 20 minutes from my apartment. She was no nonsense, incredibly patient with the dogs, and had zero patience for the owners who thought clicker training was beneath them. Biscuit learned sit, stay, and leave it. He also learned to ignore other dogs during class, which Patrice said was harder to teach than anything else. I was proud of him. He graduated the 8-week course. I put his little certificate on the fridge, and that was that. No service training, no advanced coursework, just a dog who finally understood that the kitchen counter was not a buffet. Then things got weird. My seizures are focal onset. I get auras beforehand, which means I usually have a 30 to 90 second window where I know something is coming. Enough time to sit down, enough time to text someone if I'm fast. My neurologist and I had spent 2 years fine-tuning my medication, and my episodes were down to maybe 1 every few months. I managed it. I was used to it. What I was not used to was Biscuit. About 8 months after training, I was standing in my kitchen making coffee when Biscuit walked over, sat directly on my feet, and started whining. Not his usual whine for food or walks. Something lower, more urgent. He was staring up at me like I owed him an explanation. I thought he needed to go out. I reached for his leash. That's when the aura hit. I sat down on the kitchen floor fast, and Biscuit immediately crawled into my lap and stayed there, pressed against me, until it passed. He didn't move. He didn't bark. He just held his weight against my body the entire time, like ballast. Afterward, I sat on the floor for a few minutes, shaky and confused, and looked at my dog. He licked my face once, and then went and sat by the door like nothing had happened. I told myself it was a coincidence. It happened again 6 weeks later. I was watching TV on the couch when Biscuit jumped up, put both paws on my chest, and started whining in that same low, specific way. I felt the aura 4 seconds later. He stayed against me the entire episode, and then went back to his spot on the floor when it was over. And again, 3 weeks after that. Every single time, it was the same routine. The whine, the wait, the waiting. He was alerting to something I couldn't even feel yet, and then bracing me through it. I started keeping a log. Over 4 months, he alerted 11 times. He was wrong 0 times. I mentioned it to Patrice when I brought him in for a refresher session, because he'd started the counter surfing again. I told her what he'd been doing, assuming she'd have some explanation, some behavioral theory about dogs picking up on physical cues. Instead, she stopped mid-sentence and